Hey, also, this is 5.4. Oh, y'all let me let one in real quick. Actually, that was already here. All right, y'all. So 5.4 deals with complex rational expressions. All right. And there's one thing we're going to look at in this section, and this is what we call a difference quotient. So if you're taking, say, business calculus or calculus, you'll see this formula in those classes. So let me get this. So y'all, the difference quotient that we're going to be looking at is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So they'll give us the f of x. We'll then find what f of x plus h equals, plug that into this little formula, and the bottom is always h. Okay, so in reality, this is just a slope formula that I can use to find the slope of any line, whether it's straight, curved, or anything, okay? So I'm not going to get into details about this because they'll talk about this in those calculus classes. What I'm going to teach you how to do is find the f of x plus h, plug everything into this formula, and simplify it, okay? So let's look at the steps. We're going to look at the steps to construct and simplify the difference quotient. Okay, so like I said, they're going to be giving us the f of x. So the first step we got to do is find f of x plus h. And we'll find f of x plus h by putting an f of x into the f of x function. So we'll replace all the x's with the x plus h. So once I've got my f of x plus h, I'm going to plug everything into the formula. Now, when I put my f of x plus h and my f of x into the formula, I'm going to use parentheses around each of those functions when I first put it into the formula, so that my first step is going to be to remove the parentheses on the top. All right, y'all, let me let one in real quick. We're going to remove parentheses on top. Now, remember, when you remove the parentheses on top, since we got subtraction, we got to make sure we distribute the subtraction through the second parentheses. So make sure to distribute the subtraction through the second parentheses. Okay, y'all, at that point, parentheses will be gone on top. So what we do next is combine like terms on top. And y'all, another thing about the top, when I combine like terms, a lot of stuff is going to start canceling out. So when you combine the like terms on top, after you're done combining like terms, only terms that contain an H will be left. So I'll have terms on top, but they'll all contain an H after I've combined like terms, okay? So then the last thing, we're going to simplify the remaining fraction by dividing all terms on top by the H in the bottom. So basically, I'll have 1, 2, 3 or more terms on top. I divide each one of those by that H in the bottom. Because remember, the denominator applies to every single term that we get on top of these, okay? And y'all, that's it. They're not too bad once we get playing with one of these. So for number one, now for these examples, we're going to construct and simplify the difference quotient. Remember, the difference quotient is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Now, they'll give you this formula every single problem. Okay, they tell you what the difference quotient is on every single one of these. So, y'all, my first one, for the first problem, they're giving me f of x equals 2x minus 5. And y'all remember the first thing we said we got to do, we got to find f of x plus h. So f of x plus h will equal this f of x equation. And in place of that x, we're going to be putting an x plus h. So that'll give us 2 times x plus h minus 5. So y'all, just like y'all been doing all year, whatever we put in the parentheses on the function is what we substitute for the variables in our expression. Now, the only thing we can do with this at the moment is distribute the 2 to get rid of these parentheses. So we'll do 2 times x and get 2x. 2 times h, and we'll get a 2h. And then we have our minus 5. So notice, there's nothing else I can do to this. So this is now f of x plus h. So we're going to plug this into the formula now because we got everything we need. We just found f of x plus h. They gave us f of x, and all this will be over h. So it's always h in the bottom, okay? So to start plugging them in, I'm going to put them in parentheses. I'm going to put my f of x plus h first, 2x plus 2h minus 5. We'll subtract f of x, which is 2x minus 5, and all of that is over h. So y'all here, we found f of x plus h first. Here, plug everything into the formula. Then remember I said, remove these parentheses on top. So there's nothing in front of the first parentheses, so we can drop them. But y'all, the second parentheses, this is where we gotta distribute that subtraction through the parentheses. So doing all that, we'll have our 2x plus 2h minus 5. Negative times positive makes that a negative 2x. And then that negative times negative makes that a positive 5. All of this over h. So y'all look on top of this now. This is where we're going to start combining like terms. But notice this. I got a 2x here that's positive and a negative 2x. Those are going to cancel when you combine them. Then I've got this negative 5 and this positive 5. Those are going to cancel when I combine them. So all that's left on top is a 2h. On bottom is a h. So remember, we said right here, when you combine like terms on top, the only terms that are left on top will have an h in them. Well, y'all, my only term left has the h in it. So there's one more step I can do to this. I've got a 2h over an h. At this point, those h's will cancel, and my final answer is a 2. Okay, so found f of x plus h, plugged everything into the formula, combined like terms on top after getting rid of these parentheses, and then everything that's left gets divided by that h, and final answer. So let's do another one with a straight line like this, and then we'll throw some curved lines at us. And y'all, I'll tell you the truth, all this is doing is finding the slope, basically. And if you remember y equals mx plus b form of a line, that 2 in front of the x on a straight line is the slope. So when you got a straight line, you got to end up with whatever number's in front of that x, because that's the slope, okay? All right, y'all, so number 2. All right, so number 2, they're giving us f of x equals, and this will be another straight line. This one has 6x plus 3. And I'll write the difference quotient again. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So remember, the first thing we're going to do, we're first going to find f of x plus h. So we take f of x again and put an x plus h in place of the x. So we'll have 6 times x plus h plus 3. And y'all remember, the only thing I can do on this is distribute that 6 through the parentheses so that I get a 6x plus 6h plus 3. So I now have f of x plus h I can plug in. They gave me f of x to plug in, and it'll all be over that h. So here we go. We're going to plug it in. 6x plus 6h plus 3 minus 6x plus 3. And we'll put all that over h. All right, we plugged into the formula. Now we're going to get rid of parentheses and distribute our subtraction. So y'all, we got 6x plus 6h plus 3. Negative times a positive makes that a negative 6x. Negative times a positive makes that a negative 3. All over RH. All right, y'all, so let's start combining like terms and canceling stuff. So the 6x and negative 6x, they cancel. And the positive 3 and negative 3 are going to cancel. So all that's left is going to be the 6h over the h. And y'all remember, these h's will cancel, leaving me with a final answer of 6. But remember, that's what we should get for the slope of a straight line. Once again, the slope of a straight line is the number in front of that x. All right, y'all, but here's the thing. In college algebra, all the lines ain't straight, right? So we got to deal with our curved lines. So for number 3, they're giving us f of x equals x squared plus 5. So y'all, this is going to be a little bit more trickier because of that x squared term in here. Okay. So we're still using our difference quotient. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. All right, so once again, they gave us f of x, always the h on the bottom. So we got to find f of x plus h on this. So f of x plus h, well, x squared will now be x plus h squared plus 5. Oh, and y'all look at that. I'm going to work on the side on this one. Because we got to figure out what x plus h squared will equal. And y'all, to find x plus h squared, we're going to write x plus h twice. And we get to FOIL this. So once we figure out what x plus h squared is, we'll put that back over here into our function. So y'all, we got an x times x is an x squared. X times h is an hx. Now I'm just keeping mine in alphabetical order so that I can find my like terms easier, okay? H times x is another h times x. And then finally, the h times h is a h squared. So these are both positive, so these don't cancel. So bring down the x squared. 1hx plus 1hx is 2hx. And then at the end, we bring down our h squared. So y'all, this is what x plus h squared will always equal. So save that for when y'all are doing this problem, because it'll equal this every single time. Okay. So you're going to replace that over here. X squared plus 2hx plus h squared. And then at the end is our plus 5. And y'all notice this. None of this is like terms. So this whole expression will be f of x plus h when we plug it into our formula. And since we have everything we need, let's plug it in. F of x plus h, x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 5 minus f of x, which is x squared plus 5. All of that over h. So now we've got our formula. So we're going to drop parentheses and distribute that negative through the second parentheses. So here we go, y'all. Bring down the x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 5. Negative times a positive makes that a negative x squared. Negative times a positive makes that a negative 5. All of this over h. All right, y'all, so let's see what's canceling. We got an x squared and a negative x squared. They're going to cancel. Oh, look here, we got a 5 and a negative 5. They're going to cancel. So all that's left is a 2hx plus h squared all over h. So are y'all noticing this? That every time we start canceling, everything in the second parentheses is canceling out every single time we do this problem. That x squared canceled and that 5 canceled. Up here, the 6x canceled and the 3 canceled. Everything in the second parentheses at this stage is going to cancel out. So now we got to simplify this by removing the h's. And y'all, you want to treat this like a 2hx over h plus the h squared over h. This h on bottom affects both terms on top. Okay. So look at this. The 2hx over h, h's cancel, and all that's left is the 2x. So you're basically using the h on bottom to cancel out an h on top on every term. So look here, h squared over h. So remember, you treat this like exponents, and 2 minus 1 leaves you 1h, so that you come down and you get a single h. Or y'all, you could think of this like this. H squared could be a h times a h over that h on the bottom. And if you look at it like that, one of the h's cancels and you're left with that single h, okay? And y'all, guess what? Can't go no further on this. So that is our final answer. Okay, so the whole trick on these is getting this f of x plus h. And then realizing at this point, the only terms that are left have to have those h's in them, okay? And then we also noticed that the second parentheses is canceling out every single time on these, okay? All right, y'all. So keep this handy because anytime I get an x plus h squared, I'm going to replace it with this right here, okay? Righty, y'all, 2 more to go, so they're going to keep upping the ante on us. Well, let me get my camera back. So number 4, f of x equals negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 5. And y'all, let me write our formula. F of x plus h minus f of x all over h. All righty, y'all. So first of all, let's find our f of x plus h. Oh, look at this. We got to take this f of x equation, put an x plus h here and square it, and then put an x plus h here. So that'll give us negative 3 times x plus h squared plus 2 times x plus h, and then plus r5 at the end. All right, y'all, so I'm going to bring down that negative 3. So we already know what x plus h squared equals. So we're going to put that in here now, because we done FOILed that out. And what do we get? An x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. And then I'm bringing everything else down. 2 times x plus h plus my 5. So the only thing I did on that step was rewrite x plus h squared as x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. And then I just brought everything else down, because now I'll do all my distributing. I'll distribute the negative 3 through the first parentheses. I'll distribute the 2 through the next parentheses, and then I'll bring down that 5. So y'all distributing that negative 3, we're going to get a negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times 2 gives me a negative 6hx. Negative 3 times h squared is a negative 3h squared. Now let's distribute the 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times h is 2h. And then at the end, we'll bring down our plus 5. And y'all look at that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 terms here, and none of those are like terms. So this whole expression is now my f of x plus h. So we know that. The bottom's always h. So let's plug everything into our formula. So f of x plus h was negative 3x squared minus 6hx minus 3h squared plus 2x plus 2h plus 5 minus f of x, which is negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 5. All of this over RH. Well, y'all, a lot of terms in this thing. So the trick is to keep up with your terms and exponents on these, okay? So now we're going to drop parentheses and distribute that negative to all three terms in the second parentheses. So here we go, negative 3x squared minus 6hx. Now, although you're not doing a lot each step, it seems like you're doing a lot because these are so long. Okay. All right, minus 3h squared plus 2x plus 2h plus 5. Negative times a negative makes that a positive 3x squared. Negative times a positive makes that a negative 2x. Negative times a positive makes that a negative 5. All of that over h. But y'all remember, we said a while ago that we were noticing everything in the second parentheses is going to cancel out at this stage. And y'all look here, negative 3x squared, positive 3x squared. They're going to cancel. That negative 2x and that positive 2x, they're going to cancel. That negative 5 and that positive 5, they're going to cancel. So a lot of stuff is canceling out, but I got three things left on top. I got a negative 6hx minus 3h squared plus 2h all over my h. So y'all, here's the thing. All three of these on top are being divided by that h. So you can think of it like this. Negative 6hx over h minus 3h squared over h plus a 2h over h. So what we're wondering is, what's going to happen simplifying all this to get my final answer? Well, y'all look at this. These h's cancel. All that's left is a negative 6x. In the middle, one h will cancel. So if you had two h's on top, one canceled, that's going to leave you a negative 3h. And then at the end, those h's cancel totally out, leaving me my plus 2. So come in, take out an h here, an h here, and an h here, and get that final answer. All right, y'all, any questions on these yet? All right, so I got one more of these. Let me let y'all catch up on writing that. And then we will do a Q.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, so like I was looking at the work. So would it always be the two middle number? I mean, the 3 and the 2 times each other for the first number, and then the first number would be the second number, and the last number would be the second number, right? Because like I seen it, that's how it always happened. It would be the first number, the 3 and the 2 times each other, and it would be 6x. And then it would be the second number would be the first number, which is negative 3 as the h. And then the last number would be the 2 as the 2 in the middle. And every problem I seen was like that.
I ain't never played with it like that, but see if that keeps happening on these.
Yeah, it did on the
So you might have done found us out another pattern on these.
I mean, that's how I seen. I don't know if that's like right, but like
So like, did it do it like on this one?
no, I think it was just the harder ones because I don't
Okay. Okay.
I'm not really paying attention to that one because I just kind of noticed it once it was like harder.
Yeah. The main things I do to these, I'll tell you, I do a lot of steps up here at once. I'm just I know everything in this is going to cancel. So at this point, I could have came in and canceled everything that don't have these H's in them. And then just started playing with the H's and stuff. But watch out, because on this one, remember, I had 3s and 2s up here. So I'm going to see if that works on this one we're about to do on number 5, what you're playing with. So let's see if that'll work on f of x equals 2.
Cause like I see something right here. Yeah, see, like if you see it, if like that same exact one, if you multiply 2 by 3, it'll give you 6x squared. So from what I see on doing the work, the answer would be 6x squared plus 6xh plus 6.
All
No,
right,
no,
so
no,
let's see if that
plus
works.
2, plus 2.
Okay, so that's
2x
this one.
squared. Yeah.
All right, so let's play with this and see if that's what we get. So we're gonna play with this formula again.
Well, write it on the side so we can see if it will work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Write what I said now, right quick.
Okay, you writing it down?
Nah, you want me to? I'm gonna say what
Okay.
I say. What
So
I say.
you
'Cause
said,
I'm looking at one. I'm looking at one from the
so you're telling me I'm gonna get a 6x.
6x squared
Uh-huh.
plus 6xh
And then,
plus 2h squared.
all right, so let's see if what we're about to see if that'll work. Okay.
All right.
All righty. So first here, let's find f of x plus h. And y'all look, ooh, we got a 2. In place of that x, we're going to put an x plus h cubed. So y'all going to bring down my 2. And we're going to do side work now, because on the side, we now have an x plus h cubed. Well, y'all, that's an x plus h times x plus h times x plus h. So we got to fold all this out. So I'm going to bring down the first x plus h. Now we know what 2 of these equal. We done foiled 2 of these before. So I'm going to bring down, we know what 2 of these equal, what, an x squared plus a 2hx plus h squared. So 2 of these foiled into that. Now we got to foil the other x plus h times all of this. So the x is going to add an x to everybody when I multiply through with that. So x times x squared will give me an x to the third. X times 2hx is a 2hx squared. X times h squared is a h squared x. Remember, I'm just keeping mine in alphabetical order. Now multiply everybody by h. That's going to add an h to everybody. H times x squared is a hx squared. H times 2hx is a 2h squared x. And y'all finally, h times h squared is a h to the third. Now we do have like terms here. This 2hx squared will add to the 1hx squared. And then this 1h squared x will add to the 2h squared x's. So like terms will have the same variables and the same exponents. So I'm going to start off by bringing down the x to the third. I'm then going to add 2hx squared plus 1hx squared will give me 3hx squared. This 1h squared x will add to the 2h squared x and give us 3h squared x. And y'all at the end, bring down RH to the third. This is what x plus h to the third equals right here. So y'all, I would save that because y'all are going to have x plus h cubed just like I did, okay? So the x plus h squared and the x plus h cubed are good to save for future use. So let me replace this with that. So I got my x to the third plus 3h x squared plus 3h squared x plus my h to the third. And the only thing I can do now is multiply by 2 through these parentheses. So I get my 2x to the third, 6hx squared, 6h squared x, and then finally 2h to the third. And y'all, I'm looking at that, and we have no like terms. So this whole expression is going to be RF of x plus h. So now we can start plugging everything in. So f of x plus h is 2x to the third plus 6hx squared plus 6h squared x plus 2h to the third minus f of x, which is a 2x to the third, all over RH. And y'all, guess what? I've only got one thing I'm subtracting. So let me write this down and drop my parentheses. 2x to the third plus 6hx squared plus 6h squared x plus 2h to the third minus 2x to the third all over RH. And y'all, sadly, only one thing cancels, and that's this negative 2x third cancels with that positive 2x to the third. So y'all, let's see what's left. 6hx squared plus 6h squared x plus 2h to the third all over h. Well, I ain't gonna lie, Devontae, you pretty dang close, because watch here. The h will cancel in the first term, leaving me a 6x squared. H is going to cancel in the center, leaving me a 6hx. And boy, look at you go. H will cancel at the end, leaving me a 2h squared. And guess what, y'all? That is our final answer.
Yeah, but when I was using when I was doing it, it like changed a little bit when it's like when it's negatives involved. See, it only worked like that where I could guess it like that because like I wasn't paying attention to what the answer was when it was giving me negative uh when it was doing subtraction inside. So I can't really remember what it was
Okay.
what the answer was to know what it would be, but I knew what it was with the positive because the one before it worked too on the fourth question you did because my paper it say 9x squared plus 3x plus 5, and the answer came out to you multiplied the first number by
I'm
two.
trying to find that page. Where did I do that at? Number 4.
It's right there under 5.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm looking for number 4 and it's on top.
But yeah, like for number 5,
Uh-huh.
so it's -3. So since the 2 is right there, so I multiply 2 times negative. So what's the 2 called? The coefficient, right?
Yeah, these are coefficients.
All right, so I'll multiply the second coefficient by the first coefficient.
Uh-huh.
And it's gonna always be like that type of question gonna always be like 6x subtract 3x. So the x gonna always be the same answer. So you'll multiply the first coefficient by the second coefficient, get -6, and then you bring the first coefficient down in the sign, and then it'd be subtract 3. But then the h is always gonna be there because that's the part of the equation. And then
Exactly.
you put the 2 to the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, good job. So you're figuring out little patterns for these things, okay? Now, if you could write a theory about that, we can come up with a new math law, right?
I know I ain't even into that. I'm just trying to.
That's how they come up with new stuff. They just get to thinking, okay, what works? Well, we got a pattern here. Okay.
They probably already know that. They just ain't saying nothing.
There you go. They just want to make us go through all this, right? Well, y'all, guess what? That was 5.4. So you just got them 5 problems, but remember, save all this stuff because your x plus h cubes and your x plus h squared are always going to equal this. So save that stuff when you're doing these, and save that stuff for your test. Because you'll see these on your tests and reviews also, okay? So, and y'all, that's everything for my test too. So, any questions? All right, y'all. So the main thing to try to do by Sunday night, if you can, try to catch up all this homework because you don't want to go into test week being behind on everything. So try to catch up all your homework. That way, Monday or Tuesday, all you got to focus on is this test. And you ain't got to try to go back and catch up all that old homework. Okay. So try to catch everything up by Tuesday morning. And I got the review out there for you if you want to play with it before Tuesday morning. It's a 20-question review quiz. Y'all, until then, just play with that homework. And like I said, we'll review Tuesday morning, all 20 of them questions. All right, y'all. So hang on just a second. I'm going to stop my share so I can make sure I got everybody. All right, so I got Devontae, Kevin, Ashlyn, Hannah, Ashley, Kiana, and Sharta. All righty, y'all. So any questions? All right, so no questions. So give me about 30 minutes. This video won't be as long. So give me 30 minutes. I'll send this video out.